And welcome to Bits Radio. Julie, Steve, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for
Thank you.
having us.
Yes, and you guys were in Bits last year for Pergamentum, correct?
Yes, we were. We had a blast. It was one of our first big festivals during COVID times. And it was super well done. Major props to you guys.
Well, that was the hard part last year is film festivals trying to figure out exactly how they could run.
Yeah.
Now
And we have a couple of films on the circuit now, so we've been doing this for almost a year and a half or so, going around to all the festivals. And since the pandemic started, man, we've been in a lot of not so well done festivals. Everybody's sort of finding their feet, but man, you guys did a bang ass job.
excellent. I'm so glad to hear that. What has it been like on the other side? Because over here we figured out the best way to do this festival, but like you said, you're seeing some of them that didn't quite figure it out. What kind of things are you seeing?
I mean, I think a lot of it was just the fact that no one was planning for this to happen. So especially festivals that had dates earlier on and didn't have the chance to really figure out what that was going to look like. I mean, it was a matter of trying to figure out something they could put together in a hurry. And so, yeah, just like a lot of figuring out the tech, which I think we've all leveled up this year.
Yeah. We just took part in a Vancouver-based festival where they decided early on, I think back in April, no, we don't know what's going to happen, but we're going to stream. Let's cancel the live event. And so they had 10 months to prepare, and it showed. Like, they did a really good job too.
Oh, excellent. So how is the Pergamentum? How's it been received?
It's been great. I mean, one thing I will say about the virtual film festivals is you get to attend a lot more festivals than you probably would otherwise if you had to go and travel to these. So it's been a lot of fun to virtually be in a virtual room watching this film with usually more people probably than would fit into a theater sometimes. And it's not the same as sitting there and feeling the tension in the crowd and the oohs and the ahs and the gasps, which I love. But it's fun because there's often a little chat bar to the side and people can go, oh, it's something bad's gonna happen. And it's
Yeah, we've started forming little viewing groups where we can watch each other's faces as we view the horror film.
Oh, that's an interesting idea.
Yeah, it works really well. It's fun. You have to count down and everybody pushes play at the same time. Then you got your little squares up there. Can't have too many people, like 6 or 8's great number.
That's an awesome idea.
Good way to go.
You're right. It has opened up some things though, because like with Blood in the Snow this year, it was all across Canada. Being from Vancouver, you guys are in Vancouver. I'm literally 3 hours from Toronto, and we could both watch the same festival without leaving our homes. So it did have that benefit. But you're right. Nothing beats sitting in a theater, especially with your own project, listening to the audience.
Especially horror. There's a feeling of glee when you know what's going to happen and you're just waiting.
Exactly. Well, now this is kind of like that because we have a sidebar here. So if anybody listening wants to ask a question, please feel free to do so. We're broadcasting on quite a few platforms right now, so there might be people from all over the place commenting. But one of the things I wanted to get in with yours, because I remember you told me originally it was a very short shoot.
It was. We actually did it as part of a 48-hour film challenge. Over here, we have a 48-hour film challenge that runs twice a year in normal times, and the regular version is just run and gun. The Halloween kind of timed one of them is called Blood and Guts. So that's always just a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun to scare people in 48 hours. So yeah, we basically got started at about 7 p.m. I believe it was Friday night. We were given 3 surprise elements, which have to be included in the film so that, you're working from scratch, from inception to delivery. Here's a hard drive. It's 48 hours firm. And so, yeah, we had our elements to start with at 7 p.m. I think we had a script done by 3 a.m., 3, 4.
So you really don't sleep at all.
We're lucky. This time we got like a solid 2 hours of sleep this time.
Naps. You nap in between, but it's around the clock for 3 days, of course.
Yeah, we were privileged on this one. And then because most of the film is set at night, so it was like could sleep in a little bit, full 2 hours. And then we headed to a float house in North Vancouver and set up and started filmed till about 5 a.m. and then straight to the edit suite. Stuff went off to get colored, stuff went off to get sound. We had
we had our editor Alex was upstairs in the float house, and we were feeding her footage as fast as we could as we were going along.
A rough cut was done almost by wrap.
Yeah. And so at wrap, you have a rough cut.
Oh wow.
Yeah. And we were ambitious. We had a composer composing a live score to get to sound. There was a lot of moving pieces.
So then, if you can, roughly, can you give just a brief synopsis of the short? And then, because this is what I love about it, what were the 3 elements that you had to incorporate?
Ooh, so a brief synopsis would be it's an eco-horror short where Amy, a marine scientist, is working in a remote Pacific Northwest area, and she hears strange whisperings coming through her underwater microphones. And she calls in a diver to take a look at what could be going wrong with it. And the horror unfolds.
Nice.
It's a dark tale of retaliation.
So what were the 3 elements you had to put in there?
The 3 elements were technology. So therefore we have the underwater microphones and that setup. Stuffed animals or animal. And the line, "Stop touching it, it'll turn yellow," which actually got cut when we did the director's cut. Final cut of the film, because it just didn't quite add to it. It needed to be there for the festival itself, but afterwards I was like, it's not adding.
I mean, I think we did a decent job of integrating the elements, which you get judged on that, obviously, on how that they just don't pop out in the middle of the film and don't seem to be organic. Mm-hmm. But I think if we were weak anywhere, was maybe that one line. I mean, it's hard to say. It's an awkward line. Not many people really integrated it well. So there's a little scene where the diver looks at all her stuffed animals and pulls out a whale that was given to her by, well, I won't give too much away, but she says, "Stop touching it, it's going to turn yellow." It was nicer to take that line out for the festival run, I think.
Oh, okay, I get what you're saying. Yeah. But see, that's the beauty of those challenges, is trying to make it work with what you have.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's always going to happen. It doesn't matter if you have $100 to make a film or $10 million. You're always going to want to make something a bit bigger than your budget. And I think developing that skill to make $100 look like 1,000 or $10,000 look like $100,000. That's the very unique skill set of the indie filmmaker.
Exactly. Well, now you guys had an additional challenge too, because you had water shoots.
We did.
Yeah.
I know I personally have never tackled that, but how much more of a challenge is that?
Massive challenge.
Yeah, it was definitely, it just, it nothing went wrong per se. It just takes a lot longer than you think to do anything where you're working with this unknown element of what's the tide doing, even is you have to watch these little things that you otherwise wouldn't have had to think about. So and I was in the water as well, doing some stuff, but I have PADI certification, but I had not dived in a few years, so just getting my buoyancy right and everything like that took a while to figure out and get comfortable with again. And in freezing water, it's completely different conditions. I got PADI in the Red Sea. It was warm water. You go into I'd never been diving here on the West Coast, so it's so different when you're freezing cold. And it's pitch black, of course, down there. And then in between takes, especially mostly for me, because I was spending quite a bit of time in the water to get the takes just right, and I was not in a wetsuit at all. So I'd be in the water for about 2 minutes, and then I'd start to get a little too chilly, a little lightheaded. So haul me out, stick me in. We had a steaming hot bathtub kind of waiting off to the side to warm up in between takes, and reviewing footage in a bathtub.
So, and we should say another unique feature of this production was that it was co-written, co-directed, co-produced. So 3 of us. So Julie, me, and Sean Major, who played the diver. We co-directed it, and so those 2 were acting, and I would be bringing the monitor in when they were in the tubs, saying, "Let's look what we just did. Do we go again? Do you want to get in there again? Do you really want to jump in there again?"
Creative integrity is important to us.
There is a mental picture that I don't think I've ever seen on a set.
I swear there must be a photo of it, but I can't find one, and it makes me a little bit sad because forget the director's chair. I want just the director's bathtub.
Yeah,
So
give me the director's tub.
Yeah.
The director's tub.
No, director's jacuzzi. There we go. If we're gonna go tub, we got to go tub.
I'm acting from in a jacuzzi now.
That's right.
Either way, it's in my rider. I
have to ask though, didn't that make it worse? You know, coming out of that hot water back into the freezing water.
No, I mean, I think I stayed in there long enough to kind of get core temperature up a little bit. It was like, you know, those really expensive spas where you go and you get in the hot tub and then you get in the cold tub and you go, oh, this is so relaxing. It was like that, but without the relaxing.
Yeah. Sadly, I would have gotten the hot tub and said, no, we're done. Just take what we got. Well, we haven't shot anything. I don't care.
We finished it and he's like, we should shoot more underwater. I'm like, no, you know what? I'm good for like a few years at least, 5 minimum.
What time of year did you shoot this?
This was late October. No.
October in the Burrard Inlet, which is part of the, North Pacific Ocean. So
it was delightful.
Yeah.
So now we're looking June, July, August for the next water shoot.
Good idea.
Yeah, better planning. And yeah, middle of the night was about as chilly as we could get it. But on the plus side, when you're standing on the dock, you have those nice little puffs of like freezing breath coming out. I'm like, oh, this looks really good. It looks like it's going to be really uncomfortable to be in the water.
And you were right.
Yeah, you save on the atmosphere machines because it's just coming out of our mouths.
Now, with this short, you've actually expanded this, haven't you?
We are working on, it's been something that as we were working on it, we were like, oh, this would be kind of a fun feature to make. And then as we've been doing festivals, we've been getting a bit of feedback where it's like, oh, I could watch a feature of this. I'm like, oh, good. That's what's in the works. So.
I think there's a taste out there for a feature of it.
So who's been working on this, on the feature script, or is the feature script completed?
Not yet. We are still outlining, and that's just me and Steven, Sean Major, which with COVID has been a bit slower. I do like the process of writing in person with people and sitting in a room and having that kind of that vision and the bouncing of ideas, and I miss that a lot. So
no, I agree with you 100%. The biggest part about bits that I missed this year was sitting across from a table with you guys chatting at the festival. There is that face-to-face interaction makes it so much better. But when you're doing stuff like this, it allows more people to be included, I guess.
Yeah, I think it's great for sharing work in some ways, for creating work. It's definitely, especially in those creation type writer room type situations, it's nice to not have too many people there anyway. And then you just, you gotta be able to be in the room. You have to be able to be in the room and fight about the script so that it gets better and better.
Exactly. It's hard to throw coffee at someone with just like splash.
Yeah.
Yep. All you did was ruin a monitor. So now, the one thing I like to ask, and I don't think I did when we were doing the live interview, or sorry, the interviews for Bits, what made you decide to get into this particular field? Because independent film is not kind.
Oh, the whole field of not just horror, you mean independent filmmaking?
Yes. Yeah.
I remember the moment that I decided. I was working in I was working web development, but I was also doing advertising for a website that I was working on, and I had driven out to pick up a advertising check from a client for the second time, and was told for the second time that he was not there. He was out golfing and had just forgotten our appointment. And I remember going back out to my car and it had been a 20-minute drive to get there. And I remember crying and going, if I'm going to work this hard and not get paid, I'm going to be an actor. So I became an actor, and then I just fell in love with the storytelling element, and I wanted to not have to, sit and wait for the call. I wanted to be making those calls and getting my hands dirty in storytelling. So that's what drew me into filmmaking, I think.
It's a testament to how much fun you must have when you will get into sub-zero water, then turn around, sit in a hot tub, do your takes, do your blocking, and you're getting squat all for it, but it's the fun. So that, I can't argue there.
The feeling where you're like, I can't wait for somebody to see this. I do like that. I mean, I think a lot of filmmaking is for yourself, but a lot of it is for what you get to like share with other people.
Nice. Steve, what got you into it?
Well, my background is so hodgepodgey that it's actually I think the perfect background for getting into film and being a filmmaker, because you have to be such a jack of all trades. I mean, I used to teach university history and philosophy, but also the arts, and I used to direct amateur theater. I've been a mineral explorer up in the Yukon. I've done the fishing industry. I've done this and that. So many things. And then I stumbled into the film world, I guess because I'd gotten used to the gig economy. Going up to the Yukon for mineral exploration and then the commercial fishery, I was used to like 4-month stints, and then boom, you're looking for work again. So film was that kind of thing. I slowly worked through I got onto the big union shows to see what was happening. I worked on crew for The Interview, where I was with Seth Rogen, actually putting this tiger on him up in Britannia Village. I did such a hodgepodge of things there. And then when I met Julie, and we sort of got involved in the local Vancouver independent scene, which is super supportive, so many great people.
I corrupted him.
She corrupted me. And I'm like, this is it. All the pieces of my life are coming together at once. Mm-hmm. Finally. Let's do this.
It's like, so you like to do this weird stuff. How would you like to do it for no money?
Exactly.
And then I directed a Crazy Eights film. Crazy Eights is another one of those competitions here in Vancouver, which is great for first-time filmmakers. That's an 8-day festival where you have to
8 whole days.
Shoot in 3 days, edit in a couple, and post-production for another few, and get it in 8 days. And we did a major sort of biopic of Ada Lovelace, the world's first computer programmer. And that's doing really well on the festival circuit right now as well.
Really? That sounds intriguing, actually.
Yeah, it's full period piece set in like 1850s London, shot in Vancouver, because we just can't do a small.
Another crazy. Project. So it's supposed to take place in London in 1851. We were in Delta, south of Vancouver, in February in a blizzard, a full-on snowstorm, for a 3-day shoot. With period costumes, which is not a good idea for your first film.
I was just gonna say, you did a period piece docudrama for a timed contest.
Yes. So we were already used to ridiculous challenges when we did the Pergamentum. Been there, done the stupid idea, the big concept.
The more I'm listening, it's like you guys dropped your bar to do Pergamentum.
Well, I mean, we only had like 48 hours. You gotta be reasonable.
Okay, yes, you're right, 100%. So sorry, you shortened up the time considerably.
And went underwater, because like, how do you top 19th century British period piece in a blizzard? Well, you have to go underwater, surely.
Gonna have to jump
underwater for 2 days in the cold. That is awesome. Now, how are you guys keeping busy during the pandemic? Like I always say, whoa, what's coming down the pipe? But right now, there's not a real big pipe for stuff to come down.
I mean, I think it's mostly, it's strange to, I first of all, set is my favorite place to be in the whole world. And I haven't been on one. I was briefly on a friend's set in the summer, which was wonderful, but I'm not feeling the urge to get out there just yet. I'm like, especially for indie film, like we were saying, it takes so much in terms of resources and time and money to make it as safe as you possibly can, and especially when you're asking people to come out and often, you know, do you a favor in what they're doing. It's like, yeah, it feels strange to do that right now when it feels like,
yeah.
So
We're a bit wary because I mean, there's pros and cons. An indie shoot will be smaller crew, so maybe social distancing is easier. But also, everybody's doing 5 jobs at once, and we've been on a couple of shoots where this is tricky. It's better like when watching the union shows where they have these big 10 to 12 member COVID teams watching the crew and making everybody do the protocols, and the industry's just chugging along with fits and stops. It's a difficult time.
So I mean, I think to answer the question of what we've been filling our time, really extensive charts of like film festival plans and a lot of outlining of I feel like I've got about 20 projects in my head right now. So sitting down and getting those down on paper, and
so we're really looking at it as the time to kind of go inward and bring out all the stuff that is deep in your psyche. This is the time to cocoon and hibernate.
The perfect
We're pulling
time.
a Luke Skywalker on the island type.
Yes.
There you go.
Yeah.
Well, and see, once this breaks, I can see independent film becoming a buzz again, because the minute you say, I got a project going on, who wants to help? You're going to have a billion people going, yes, please, because they just desperately want to get back on set.
Absolutely. I mean, I think too, it'll be, I mean, I think it would be an amazing opportunity for one of the bigger streamers to pick up short films too, because I mean, I think in these times there's been huge gaps in when shows have been able to shoot and not, and I know there's less content that was able to be created, but a lot of people have a lot of great shorts as well that they've been sitting on. It would be really cool to have a bigger streamer pick them up and fill in their those content gaps with really cool work by emerging artists.
I have been a huge proponent of that, because it always bothered me. Even in normalcy, you would go to a festival and see stuff like the Perbentum, and then you go, okay, well, where can I see it now? There are so many from the past bits that I want to watch, but you can't find them.
I always thought it was odd that when people were working on content for the internet, they're going, oh, people's attention spans are getting so much shorter. We have to think about what kind of content. I'm like, shorts. We have shorts.
Exactly. It's been around for a while, people.
And that's how you often find, your favorite directors that then become, big names in the film industry later on.
I know, just from Blood in the Snow and a couple other festivals that I've gone to, I've seen some shorts that blow some of the features out of the water that were in the festival. And it's like, I want to see more of what this person's doing, but like I said, being a short film, unless you find the right festivals, you don't get to see them. Now, a buddy of mine did make a website, and I push it as much as I can because it's so good. It's all short films. It's called indieview.com. And I should have made a banner for it. I'll make one really quick now, just so you guys can look it up. It's all short films. In the view. Oh, there we go. And Blood in the Snow even has a channel all by themselves on there. So short films that have been on bits can be on that channel, or they can be off by themselves.
Oh, very neat.
And I know they're rolling out some very cool stuff where they can have watch-alongs with the directors and the writers and things like that. So it's building momentum. So something you might want to consider, A, for your project, but B, just to check out some really wicked short films.
Oh, yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. It'd be nice to see the big streamers go more into the short film direction too. Did some exploring, and I really haven't seen too much. There was a section on Netflix called short films, but really it was more the really short form episodic TV rather than standalone short films. I'm like, it's not really.
Yeah.
But YouTube obviously has a lot of the channels for short films. But
I did see it on Amazon Prime at one point too.
Yeah.
They were actual film festivals that released shorts. Because I know Gigi and Luchagor had one of theirs in the compilation that I saw.
Right.
Yeah.
I think there was 3 compilations, and that was it.
Yeah, I think,
So
but I mean, I think it's neat. Like even like what happened with Bits, you
Yeah.
know, and pairing up with Super Channel and
Yeah, that's pretty
Apple
awesome.
TV. It was just, yeah, it was great to suddenly have that platform for that format.
Loved
exactly.
it.
it it was kind of cool. I interviewed one person and I said, "Well, what do you think? You know, seeing it on Super Channel?" He goes, "Well, literally, I'm watching it on the TV I edited it on, so it's not really a big difference." And it's like, okay, I get that, but that's the rarity because you know it's taken on a new form, and I think you're going to see a lot of places become meshed. You know, they're not going to lose what they had, but they're going to bring back what they did.
Yeah, and especially the pairing of a short with a feature too in programming is really neat. I mean Disney's been doing that, and Pixar's been like putting little shorts in front of their movies for a long time, and it's always just a charming little thing. I don't know. I've always
I think
enjoyed.
it is a nice touch, absolutely, especially when you can find that perfect match. You
Yeah.
know, yes. Well, how do people follow you if they want to check and see what you're up to?
Yeah, we try to keep up with all the social medias like hip people. I'm on Instagram at julie.bruns, and on Twitter as that Julie Bruns. And Steve, you're
Just look up my name, Steven Kammer, Kammer. I'm on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook.
and Sean Major, I believe, is
Sean with a W, Sean
yes.
AWN Major,
Yes.
and he's all over the social media as well. So yeah, find us, join us.
We need to form one big actual account for all of our productions, but that is on the list. That should be our COVID activity.
There you go. Now you got a to-do list. One thing. Excellent. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show. And anytime in the future you want to come back, talk more, let me know.
Amazing. We'll
Thank you.
definitely give you a call when Pergamentum the feature is ready.
There we go. Excellent. All right. Well, for
Thanks.
another week at Bits Radio, we will see you all later.
Thanks.
Thank you.